my intention for you until the end of this masterclass is to feel yourself completely fired up, to feel yourself activated at your core, to find your way back to your power that's always with you, but sometimes we kind of disconnect from it, and to let yourself be the leader first of yourself, and then the leader in your community, in your work in your world. So I prepared for you several codes of self-mastery, self-leadership, and power, personal power for today. And as I was saying, I'm inviting you to maybe not take necessarily notes so that you don't activate the intellectual part of you, but listen with your heart and let the frequency sink in. And then you'll always have, you'll have access, not always, because I don't know for how long I will be keeping this public, but you have still access then to the replay in order to, get deeper if you want to take notes. So yesterday, we were saying that the self-leadership part and the personal power part is really the last part of the self-activation and self-actualization. And it's the part that I prefer to work after we lay the foundation. We were saying that the foundation is all about building that connection, that inner balance inside, that sense of safety, that sense of connection to your highest self, to your soul, to your higher guidance. That is really the foundation. Without that, whatever we are trying to build will be crumbling. Like it will stay a little bit, the construction, and then boom, at the first wobble, first wall that we are hitting, it will crumble. So only on that solid foundation, then we are building the authority. We are helping you become the authority. And then after that, we are helping you master the CEO mindset and skills and processes and systems. So all that makes the business grow seamlessly without you always trading your your time for money, because this is a big thing. Understanding how to allow your business to work for you without you working for it and for money all the time. And this is the business mastery part that we talked about yesterday. I'm not going to enter too much into the details around the business mastery, because I think that it's not necessarily a technical, but it's like really a tactical part. And I believe, as we are saying, that it is important, but it's not the most important thing that we can do when we are building our business up. So I do have all the strategic and tactical programs for the different parts. But 80% again of our success is not those strategies. I can teach you, client pathways. I can teach you the yes ladder. I can teach you all the systems that you need in your business in order to have everything automated in the back, of your business, and everything happens without you having any more to work for enrolling a new client, getting a new call, getting the payment, whatever, all those systems. So we have that structure, but those structures are really, really just 20% of the success. So I rather teach you now in this masterclass about what creates actually the success, what is helping you to fire yourself up. And then at the end, I love to do this personal power, staying power activation work. This work is really what takes us to the next levels. So the first three levels, the inner balance and safety, the becoming the authority, the business mastery, are taking us to the first to the first milestones in the business. They are necessary, right, to have all this. But then if we want to collapse time and we want to quantum leap, and we want to go higher and higher in the next phases of our growth and business evolution, what is really needed is this part that we will be covering today, the self leadership, and personal power. So let's start with the first code. And the first code is all about getting self-motivated. This is so important in self-leadership. And I've noticed this about me during the pandemic. I don't know how you you crossed the pandemic experience, but while I was, staying like everyone else, completely, isolated in our house, not being able to travel, not able being able to do the things that were actually giving me life. They were fueling me, or so, I defined them for myself. I felt like, oh, I'm dropping the ball. I'm feeling so demotivated. A lot of people got really depressed, and the industry of depressants got really, really prosperous, right? During and after the pandemic. But the truth is that that's when, the coin started dropping. Like, I let myself be externally motivated. And when I let myself be externally motivated, this means that I'm giving my power away to the external, to the external circumstances. And this in business looks like that. We feel like, yeah, everything is working. We are pumped up. We are so motivated to create, to put out, to show out, to tell to people what we are doing and what we are about, as long as there are people signing up, there are people who are buying, there are sales that are coming in, there are new clients coming in. Our clients are, you know, flowing one after the other. But then when there is a moment when all this is not happening, we feel deflated and defeated. And it's like, oh, wow, wow, wow. And the energy goes down, and we start creating a dip for ourselves. What usually would be like just a normal, and no evolution is boom like this. In not even in nature, growth is like this. On the way up, there are downs. On the way up, there are downs. But what we are doing when we are getting into a little bit of down, because we get so addicted to highs, we got so addicted to adrenaline, we we drop the ball. We feel like, I get so demotivated. I am so overwhelmed. I'm so not finding anymore my power. I'm not finding anymore my joy. So here is your reminder: lack of motivation, it's an indication. Addicted to immediate rewarding, this is something else. Yeah, addicted to instant gratification. This is a real addiction. And we will be speaking more about that when we will be speaking about how we are mastering crossing the void, and how we are becoming unstoppable while crossing the void. But it's a real thing. So here's the thing: the lack of motivation is the result of something that is happening inside ourselves. Either, we got lost in the doing, or we feel like the results are not really at the level of what we want, or we lost track of the meaning of what we are doing, in the sense that we got so deep into just doing and overdoing and getting busy into our business, that we forgot why we are doing this work. What is actually that we are standing up for? So the lack of motivation is the side effect of losing connection within ourselves. When you feel demotivated, it's because you can't see yourself anymore, or you forgot who you are. You forgot what you've created so far. You forgot your power. You forgot about, who you are in this world and in your business. And as this is the side effect, as a disconnection from inside, this also means that the motivation is your responsibility. It's on you. It's always on you. And here are some keys that are really, really important in order to find our motivation, to spark up our motivation whenever we feel like, I kind of feel disconnected from my business, from my passion, from my power, from my inspiration. In those moments, it's important to remember this is because I disconnected from myself. And then we need to create space for being with ourselves. We need to create space to prioritize silence within ourselves, to prioritize practices of reconnection to our intuition, to prioritize maybe, some prompts that are coming through in order to connect ourselves to our higher guidance, to our soul. I am going really deeper into this, into the first module of the business from soul, but there are lots of things that you can do for yourself here. It's really about intentionally opening the space to actually finding the way back to yourself, asking yourself the questions that you would be asking, to your higher self, and let the answers come through. For instance, let the guidance come through. Be available to stay in that silence in order to receive the answers. So this is one thing. The other thing that is also such a spiritual practice is prioritizing wellness, prioritizing, going for the daily walks. I personally, I started to believe, I started not to believe, I started to look very closely at the mentors that I'm hiring. And if I see that the mentors that I'm hiring are not having really um, a part where they are honoring their wellness, I'm not very drawn to them, because we can't serve others if we are not respecting ourselves first, if we are not finding, and prioritizing ourselves first. And this is also the space where we are sparking up our motivation, because we are getting back in touch with ourselves through the wellness practices, through the daily walks, through the daily, spiritual practices, through the daily meditation, breath work, journaling, whatever it is. So this is a part of it. But then there is another part of finding your motivation, which is deciding that you are the kind of person that is self-motivated. And if you start identifying yourself with, what, my success, matters, my work matters, my voice matters, what I'm putting in this world matters. All this is part of the self-concept elevation that we mentioned. So it's part of that work. But you can, independent of that, you can decide, I matter, my work matters, my impact matters. So then it means that if all that matters, I'm choosing to identify as someone who is successful. I'm choosing to identify as someone who is motivation. Motivation is who I am. And if you start identifying yourself with, I am motivated, I am a motivated person by default, because I believe that my life matters. I believe that my work matters. We get unmotivated to show up for our work when we feel like it doesn't really make a difference. But if we wire that in, actually my work matters, my voice matters, what I'm putting out matters, so then motivation is who I am. Every time when we feel like, actually today I'm not feeling that motivated, we can ask ourselves this question: if I were already motivated, what would I choose to do right now? If I were already motivated, what would I choose to do right now? The mistake of most people is that they are waiting to become motivated. It's like, what are you waiting? Many times I have this conversation with clients, like, we discuss, we make plans, we map offers, we nail messaging, and then we are speaking about, okay, what happened? Did you put that offer out? And the answer sometimes is no. And I'm asking why. I don't know. It's just postponing the nervous system work. That's how I discovered that that is fundamental, and we should be starting with that. People are waiting to become motivated, and that is a long wait when we wait for it. Instead of that, we can short circuit the entire process and just simply ask ourselves, like, okay, I'm not really motivated right now, but if I were, how would I be showing up today? What would I be creating? What would I be putting out? How would I be speaking? And start taking action. I'm saying this for years. Clarity comes from action, but I also believe that motivation comes from action, appetite comes from action, courage comes from action, passion sometimes comes from action. When we get out of the inertia and we put ourselves into forward movement. So this is how we get self-motivated. Another code is to celebrate. And I know that we kind of all know how important it is to celebrate ourselves, to celebrate our wins. But let this be your reminder. When we celebrate our wins, no matter if they are small or big, we on a continuous basis, like when we have a ongoing habit of gratitude, what happens is that instead of having the impression that we are always starting from zero, like every week or every month, like, okay, I had the results that I had last month, but now it's first of the new month and I feel like I'm starting from zero. Instead of having that mindset that is really actually quite, quite, hard to digest, we want to create a mindset of I am on a journey and everything I'm doing is piling up, everything I'm creating is adding up. So when we are celebrating, when we are in that gratitude practice, when we are seeing the tangible and intangible wins, like a win is also the fact that I started the morning not being in the highest frequency that I could access, and then I shifted it. That's a win. That is something that I am choosing to be grateful for. Or my kid did something. I was in such a great mood. I was, I was feeling like I'm the queen of my day. And then something happened. My kid did something. It just, kind of irritated me. And I immediately snapped back into the vibe that I chose for myself. I'm celebrating that because these moments of acknowledging your progress, your capacity to bounce back, to go back to, to your chosen state are wins and are micro moments when we are building ourselves up. So every time, so sure. So every time you have a win, we are sometimes feeling like, oh, I should only celebrate, the big wins, like a big cash day, a big sales day, a big whatever month. But that's not how the success mindset is being built. That's not how the energy of success is being built. The energy of success is built with the small stepping stones, by noticing the small wins, celebrating them, owning them, feeling gratitude for them, and then building on those small stones. And sometimes there will be bigger stones that we are adding, but it's a construction. The constructions are not only made of big stones. In fact, there are only a few big stones and most of them are small stones. Remember to celebrate the small stones. The next code, take radical responsibility. And I will put out a whole new and different masterclass about this, about the different levels of consciousness from which we are creating. But when we are not taking responsibility for where we are and how we are, for our results, for our reality, we are building from a victimhood mode, and that is a very low level of consciousness. So here's the reminder. There's no moving without moving forward, and moving forward most of the times also involves ups and downs, humility, failure, falling flat on your face, making mistakes. So self-responsibility is the capacity to look around and ask yourself, do I love, what I'm experiencing? And if I don't love, what would I change? What I feel inspired, to do next in order to change, to move this forward. It's really the ability to take ownership, but in an empowered way, not in the victimhood way, like, yes, I am to blame. Yes, I am not able to get the results. Yes, I created this reality, this shitty reality for me. That is not an empowered self-responsibility. That is victimhood. And I want to make clear the difference between victimhood and empowered self-responsibility. When we are in empowered self-responsibility, we take charge of where we are and also understand, if I brought myself here, it means that I'm also the one to change it. So good. Whatever we are noticing without self-judgment, without making it mean anything, especially if it means something negative, because everything we notice around is just facts, is just data. So we take that data and we look at it like a CEO. Okay, what can I use this like in order to move myself forward? So this is the CEO mindset that we spoke about, is looking at things without making them mean anything personally, looking at things as this is data. How can I use this data in order to move myself forward? That is empower self-responsibility. The other quote is releasing control and practicing trust, releasing control and practicing trust. Guys, I can't say this enough. It takes much more energy to try to control how things are working, to control the timing of the results, to control all the uncontrollable. It takes so much energy, it takes so much bandwidth, so much more than simply focusing on doing what you know that you are supposed to do, what you know to be doing, and then letting go and trusting the results. Letting go and trusting the results. So when I say do what you know that needs to be done, is literally, what do I know that I should be doing about this in order to move this forward? And then do what comes up. But the 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 fine line is between I'm doing what I feel that I should be doing, and then I'm not passing into the overdoing. I'm not crossing into pushing things into existence. I'm not crossing into overdoing more. Instead of that, I feel like, okay, I did what I needed to do, and now I'm leaning back. I'm letting go and I'm trusting. That is sustainable growth. And that is also the attitude that creates the results. Overdoing will always overdo it. Will always sabotage our results, because it's the energy of push, it's the energy of lack, it's the energy of I'm pushing against reality in order to get something that I want because I don't like where I am right now. But when we are just like, okay, I'm doing as a game, whatever I know that I am supposed to be doing, and then I'm leaning back and I'm trusting, that's the energy that is opening the doors. That's the energy that is moving the invisible. And letting go is not the same as giving up. Letting go is simply, I don't know how it will show up and when it will show up, but I trust that things will be working out for me. I will be getting this or something better. And this is something that we are rewiring in the self concept elevation. Understanding how the universe is working for you, deciding, not understanding, deciding how the universe is working for you, deciding that things are working out for you, deciding that you always get what you want or something even better. That is part of that work. And then when we have that work, wired in, and those truths that we choose for ourselves wired in, it's easy to surrender. It's easy not to consume so much so much bandwidth on trying to control things. And it's easy to actually step into our power. And power means I'm doing the work, I'm going after the big goals, but without allowing the big goals to dictate my happiness. I will repeat this. Power means I'm going after the big goals. I'm reaching high, but I am not allowing those goals to dictate my happiness. And this is the big, big reminder around power. Power never allows happiness to be dependent on the goals. Power means I am self-sourced. And self-sourced means self-motivated, as we said before, but also self-fulfilled, self-validated, I'm self-happy if you want. So work on your heart, work on these concepts of sourcing yourself from the inside. And that's how you'll become unstoppable. But more than unstoppable, you'll become a happy person. Because when we make happiness live outside of our business, we always get access to happiness no matter what is happening in the business. And then guess what? We are bringing that happiness, that passion, that joy inside our business. And then the business benefits, the growth benefits from our happiness. But happiness comes from outside of business. This is the essence of power, being self-sourced. So I think that this is the best definition I've ever came up with. And I realized that I never expressed it as clear as today. Power means to be self-sourced. You are your source. You are your source for your motivation. You are your source for your happiness. You are your source for your validation. You are your source for self-worth and self-fulfillment. Another code, let go of pedestals. And there is an entire conversation around that, but I will just say this. We tend as humans, because we are actually educated like that. We are educated to put things on pedestal, to put others on pedestal, to put results on pedestal, to put future realities on pedestals, to put money on pedestals. But here's something that I've lived personally again and again. Every time I got to a new level, every time I smashed into a new level of my business, of my money, of my lifestyle, here's what I discovered. There was no pedestal that was waiting for me there. There was no crown. There was nothing. There was just, okay, this is a new level. And it felt natural because I had worked so much inside myself to normalize that then there was no more thrill when I was getting there. It was already who I was. It was just normal me at the normal level. What became normal, for that stage of the journey. So no level will be giving you any pedestal. So then why are we putting everything, we want or we admire or we desire on pedestals? This is part of the self-actualization work that we are doing in the mastermind and in my containers. Wire in that you are equal to the best. You are equal to the best, no matter where you are in the journey. Maybe, you're not as advanced as others, but that doesn't mean that those people are better than you. Let's stop putting them on pedestals. And at the same time, money is not the source of happiness. Money doesn't have a pedestal either, shouldn't have a pedestal either, because money is not the source of your happiness. As we were saying, you are the source. When you connect to your power, you are self-sourced. So this is your reminder that money can only solve money situations. And I want you to really let this sink in. Money can only solve money situations. Like whatever is related to money, you can solve it. You can pay more, you can hire, you can, bring support. whatever is a money situation can be solved by money, but your happiness, your power, your validation, your trust, your joy, your passion, your motivation are not money situations. They are emotional situations that you can only source from within yourself. So I want you to let go, as we were saying, of the pedestals, and to remind yourself this every time when you are feeling like, oh my God, she's so advanced, or oh my God, if only I could get that, amount of money, or I could bring myself to that next level when it comes to my money, and remind yourself, I am equal to the best, and money is not my source of anything. I am my source. And let that sink in. And also, remember that you don't need anything in order to feel happy, to feel validated, to feel important, to feel significant. It's really a matter of choosing that inside yourself. And we have, for those of you that were with me in Coded for Expansion, we are speaking a lot about, self-talk, self-talk that helps this self-concept actualization. It's part also of the magic membership, so you can check it in there. Those of you that are in the magic membership, go to the part about inner self-talk, because it's really, really important. It's how we are elevating ourselves, how we are letting our subconscious understand what is the new blueprint when it comes to our self-concept. The next code, and I have only two, we are finalizing. We are keeping it lighter today. So, fall in love with the process before the result. So this is the key to how we are actually growing faster than ever. We are growing faster than ever when we let our focus be the process, be the work, and not the results. And here's what I mean. When you stay connected to the work and not to the results, and you keep that connection, you focus more on the joy of doing the work. You focus more on what the work is bringing to your life. When you started this work, it was for sure not thinking, well, I'm starting this business in order to get rich. You started this business because you had a calling, because you had a passion, you had something inside of you that was saying, I just want to do this, to do it for the world. It was really a purpose, a mission. So this is the invitation to go back to that mission. And again, as we were saying, in that embodied magic method that we are going through in the business from soul, the part of going back to the mission is essential, because it allows us to plug back into that spark, to become, to become, to step back into that passion, basically, that brought you into what you are doing today. And there is something that I think that I heard from one of my mentors. I'm not sure if I read it, but I'm pretty sure that I heard from one of my mentors years ago. And she was saying the purpose of the purpose work is purpose. And it stayed with me. It stayed with me because many times we forget that the purpose of the purpose work is purpose, which means that the work is our biggest why, not the results. The work is our biggest why. You are not here to be this person who is slaying goals and smashing new ceilings. I truly don't believe that we are coming on this planet with this mission. I believe that the mission is to become the kind of person who is fulfilled, who is happy, who is purposeful, and is overflowing from that fulfillment, from that happiness, also towards others. Which means that you let the small things and the big things to fulfill you, and you are in love with the process of your work. You are in love with the process of your work. When we move, we shift the focus from I need these results to I am choosing to fully enjoy my work, to let my work delight me and bring me, this feeling of fullness and fulfillment. Then it doesn't really matter how many people are in your program. Doesn't really matter how many people are showing up. Doesn't really matter any kind of number. You are doing it because you cannot do it, because this is who you are, because it's part of you, and because it gives you such a joy to just do that work. So my question to you is, are you enjoying the work that you are doing? If yes, then focus on that feeling. And if the answer is no, then ask yourself, okay, what would I love to do this work like in a way that is more aligned to my preferences? Many times we start, we disconnect from the love and passion for the work because the work is just not fulfilling, because we chose to do the work somewhere along the line. We chose to do the work according to other people's rules. We chose to do the work, as we were saying, staying more in our zone of excellence instead of staying in our zone of genius. And then it just, we are doing the work, but it just feels depleting. It feels like frustrating. And then it's obvious it's not really easy to enjoy the work, to let the work be our fuel, to let the work be our motivation. These classes are giving me life. Talking to my clients is giving me life. Having conversations in my Voxer is giving me life. Coaching my clients is giving me life. And I am using all that energy to fuel everything else in my life. This is the biggest part of my work, helping you create a business that is fueling you and the rest of your life in all the ways, not only the financial way. This is the biggest, for me, I discovered, is the biggest level of success. Not having just a prosperous business, a financially, good business, but feel depleted, have your health crumbling, have your relationship crumbling, have to sacrifice lots of parts of your life that are really important for you. That is not success. That is actually a failure. For me, success is having this business that fuels everything else in your life and fuels you with more aliveness. And that's what happens, starting with falling in love with your work, with your processes, and letting that be your greatest fulfillment. And then guess what? Then the results are following also, because the results are following the passion. It's like people will inevitably feel how passionate you are about what you are doing, and all that will be spilling also in the cups of your clients. Every time I have a new upgrade in my energy, in the way I'm doing business and life, my clients' results are up leveling. And I've noticed this throughout the years, and it's not anymore a surprise, because I feel like we are always overflowing to others. When we are in overflow, then we are overflowing to others, and it's a rippling effect in our world. So be that overflow in your world. And obviously, the message here was start doing it, doing the work for the love of the journey. And now the last part is all about mastering crossing the void, mastering becoming unstoppable while being in the void. And there has been a lot of conversation over the last years around void, and everyone speaks about the void. I'm not even sure that most people that speak about the void understand exactly what is the void, but I will be saying what is true to me when it comes to void. I'm teaching this in my Power Mastermind. We get our our sense of reality, our sense of the world by sending signals outside and then looking at what the signals are coming. This is, this is how we are taught. This is how we are programmed by society. Imagine like you have those sonars that the dolphins are using, but also the submarines are using. Those sonars are sending pings of frequency of sound, and then they are checking the environment. They are mapping the environment basically based on what the ping is coming like back. Now the void is the place where we don't receive these signals anymore. We don't receive the results. We don't receive the validation. We are literally in darkness. It is a kind of a, spiritual, emotional darkness, because we don't really receive anything to support ourselves externally, anything that is supporting us from the external world. And when we are crossing this void, there is a big tantrum that is happening inside of us, especially in this era where, as we were speaking in the beginning, Alina, we are so used to instant gratification. It's like if a page is not opening in 1 second or 2 seconds, it's taking too long. Sometimes we are just like, I'm not opening this page anymore. It's taking too long. We are used, and it's worse and worse. Every day we are used to instant gratification, which means that sometimes I have conversations with people that are saying, nobody's buying, this offer is not working. And I'm asking, okay, when did you put the offer out? And they say yesterday. Like yesterday, and nobody is buying yet. And you think that that means that offer is not working yesterday, 5 days ago, really? So this instant gratification is working against us. And here's why. Because we start throwing tantrums in the void. And actually, instead of using the void to elevate ourselves, we are using the void to dig ourselves down into the ground even more. And here's how. Usually when people are crossing this void and there are no results, there is no validation, there are no signs that they are doing the things right, that they are on the right path, what do most people do? They double down on doing even more. Like, oh my God, then I should be doing more of this. I should be doing that. Maybe I should be doing all the other things, or maybe I should be fixing this system, or maybe I should be, trying something else. Or so all this scattered energy is happening in the void for one reason only. We are not available to actually sit in silence and stay with our emotions in the void. We bypass the void. In a way, we try, not that we can, but we try to bypass the void. We try to fill in the void by doing and overdoing, instead of staying with what comes up for us, staying with the discomfort, staying with the invitation that we are given in order to elevate ourselves. Like, what do I actually feel? Why am I feeling that? What do I make this mean? What am I choosing now to feel inside instead of that? Or what am I afraid of? What am I actually afraid of? And what would that mean? What would that mean about me? What do I choose instead of that? So this is the first reminder. When we are crossing the void, we have to be available to sit with the discomfort, because the void is not something that happens because you did something wrong. It's something that happens to all of us, no matter the level in our journey, no matter the level of how evolved we are in this evolution of our business. You remember, even the growth itself is not linear. It's always with ups and downs on the way up. So when you are in the deep, that's when we have to have this inner strength, inner power, to be available to sit with the discomfort and to process those emotions. and to choose new truths for ourselves. This is one thing. And the other thing is also ask, asking ourselves, who do I choose to be? Who do I choose to be while crossing this void? Who do I choose to be that makes me proud? Who do I choose to be, in order to speed up results? So it's about really taking the step back, and instead of throwing ourselves into manic doing, manic fixing, manic, jumping from one thing to the other and getting into that scattered energy, like, oh, nothing is working. I don't know why it's not working. What's wrong? When will it work? It's so slow. So instead of getting into that negative self-talk and then the manic doing, we want to actually process what is coming through and then ask ourselves, who do I choose to be while I'm crossing this? Who is the version of me that will make me proud when I look back? And then get yourself distracted with becoming that person. So instead of freaking out and obsessing about the results and about how fast the results are happening, get distracted with becoming the you that makes you proud for how you are navigating this. This was one question, one shift that changed so much in my life. Every time I feel challenged, every time I feel, I'm crossing a tougher patch, which is so normal in our human world. It will always happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it happens. I'm always asking myself, how can I lead myself through this in a way that I will be proud when I look back? How can I lead myself through this in a way that makes me proud when I say the story? And honestly, it's not only about business. This is how I led myself through my health challenge. It's like, how do I want to say the story? How do I want to tell the story when I'm looking back? And what kind of story do I want to tell that would make me feel proud? And I elevated the context for who I was and how I was navigating. And this is true in business also. When we are in the void, we need to focus, to move the focus from the results obsession and overdoing to becoming the version of ourselves that we choose to be, and get ourselves distracted with being that version of ourselves. That's what creates results. That's what speeds up the the coming out from the void. That's what creates the evolution. And also, that's what gives us that feeling of, actually, I'm enjoying this. I'm not saying that we are going to be sadistic and we will be enjoying, the rough patches, but actually, this is funny that is coming up. When I was in my experience with ayahuasca, there was one moment when the lesson was, so I there was a part of the experience where I was like literally feeling completely pure love. I was pure love. I was one with everything. I was loving everything. And in that feeling, it was feeling like that was the container of my life. It was like the context of my life. It's a great teacher, this sacred plant. And then inside that container, I started feeling feelings of really deep sadness. And what the message was there was that actually there is a lot of love, and there is a lot of beauty also in sadness, not in the creepy way, but in the way that you can navigate the sadness while still feeling love. And I feel this about the void also. We can navigate the void while still feeling proud about ourselves, while still finding joy in being the person who makes us proud. And then the void doesn't become that scary anymore. It's like, okay, here we go again, with with having a new stage of self-actualization. And that's what we are focusing on. Guys, this is what I wanted to share with you today. Let me know what you are feeling. Let me know if you have any kind of questions. I just needed a bit of water after speaking. So, I loved it. So happy. So drop here in the comments if you want the um, the questions. I will just add this for you. You are already in the membership, so I will be saying this for the people who will be joining us in the replay. There is an invitation that I am making for everyone getting until here to this part of our masterclass, which is we will have a deepening call inside the membership next week on the 30th. And the deepening call will be going even deeper into the concepts that we shared during the masterclass. And also it will be about 4 ultra potent keys to turning the invisible into visible. So, and also additionally, that deepening call, and this is what we are always doing on a monthly basis inside the membership. The deepening call will also have a Q&A, which means direct coaching that you get on exactly the concept. So exactly on how to apply all these concepts in the case of your business. The membership is the best place to start into my world, because it's the place that already has so much value. It's I think the library already has over $3,000 or $4,000 worth of courses. We have in there the Coded for Expansion program, which is an amazing 4-module program all about becoming growth, becoming expansion, automatic expansion. And it's a lot of subconscious work. It's a lot of reprogramming work. It's a lot of releasing of sabotages and wiring in new paradigms. It's really, really potent. And we also have the activated abundance in there, which are 12 master classes and 12 activations that are really bringing the energy of overflow, of ease, elevating the relationship with money, and really helping going back into the position where you are calling in the shots around money in your business and life. So it's really, really potent. But besides that, we already have several master classes that we created inside the membership, and we have the monthly coaching calls, which are actually invaluable. And all these thousands of dollars that are already stored in there, besides what we are ongoingly creating, and I'm creating also every week, sharing their prompts, sharing their codes. I'm sharing today you will be getting by the way, you'll be getting the uh luck frequency activation. I created it for you today, so I will be posting it in there. I will just be tweaking it a little so that you can start wiring in that frequency of I am luck. I am luck. I am so freaking lucky. And we have that activation going back into the past, in the memory, and all that NLP beautiful process that I created for you. So we have a lot of value in there. And for the moment, but I will be increasing the price. The price is $77 per month for everything. And there is no time commitment, meaning you sign up and you can stay as long as you want. You can stay 1 month or you can stay forever. Obviously, if that is your choice, I am happy. And yeah, that is the invitation for today. Obviously, the invitation stays open for the business from soul. For those of you that are feeling the nudge. I forgot to say that for the membership, there is always a discount of 20% for all my programs or my courses that you are getting as a member inside the membership. And you can also discount the money for each month, the payment that you are making towards the membership for paying for one of the courses that you are choosing, if you are, being drawn by one course or another, one program or another. So basically you can get the membership for free. In other words. So this is about the membership. It's a great moment to join for those that are not still there inside. The price will be going up, and I will be going with a deepening call live on the 30th. So this is a great moment to join us. Guys, tell me about the questions. I saw that Jules had a question that she was preparing to ask. Jules.
Yeah, I love everything you said. Yes, and lots of concepts that, yes, I am working with. But what came up to me, this kind of new concept that I'm working with, and it seems like maybe that's also how you explained it, fits. Like, have you heard like playing not to lose and playing to win?
Yep.
So, like, what is your understanding of that? Or basically pretty much everything you said.
It's a very important understanding, especially after a certain stage in business. So this is a bigger conversation that we can have, and probably I can make a masterclass just based on that. But and for sure I have some master classes already created on this. But one of them being the flip. But here's briefly the answer. When we are starting our businesses, there is nothing to lose. It's like we are